Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're uncovering the secret history of the world's most invisible invention. We're going to journey chronologically through 5,000 years to trace the magical story of an everyday material that, quite literally, built our modern world. So, pull up a chair and get ready, because this is a fascinating story of fire, sand, and human imagination. All right, let's dive right in. Take a quick look around you right now. Look at the phone in your hand, the windows in your room, or, maybe the glasses resting on your face. So, what actually is the world's most invisible invention? Well, today we are exploring the invisible skeleton of human progress: glass. It's absolutely everywhere around us, yet it's so brilliantly clear that we just kind of forget it's even there. Section 1. The accidental spark. Fire, sand, and magic. Our time travel adventure starts thousands of years ago on a dark, windy beach. Picture this. To keep their cooking pot steady on the sand, ancient travelers, probably Phoenician merchants, used blocks of nitre. That's a natural salt they carried on their ships. They built a really hot fire over these salt blocks and let it burn all night long. Well, the next morning when they poked through the ashes, they found something absolutely incredible. The high heat, mixed with the nitre, had accidentally melted the regular old beach sand into this honey-like liquid. And when it cooled, it turned into a hard, shiny piece of what looked like frozen light. Without even understanding the complex chemistry, they had just witnessed the accidental birth of glass. How crazy is that? Now, this magic trick soon spread to the grand cities of ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia. To these early civilizations, this brand new material was a massive symbol of power. We're talking as valuable as gold or gemstones. Since they didn't have massive factories, they used a really painstaking process called core forming. Basically, they'd make a shape out of mud and sand, carefully pour hot liquid glass all over it, and then, once it finally hardened, they'd have to scrape all that mud out from the inside. The result? These absolutely stunning, deep blue beads that looked just like precious lapis lazuli, and tiny, exquisite perfume bottles made exclusively for pharaohs and the ultra-rich. Moving on to Section 2, the Roman Revolution, from royal secret to daily tool. Fast forward over 2,000 years, and the Roman Empire changes this history forever. Some brilliant, unnamed inventor created an absolute miracle using just a long, hollow metal pipe. Think about it. Before this, making a simple glass bottle was an incredibly thick, heavy process that literally took days. But then, they figured out that by putting hot glass on the end of a pipe and blowing air into it, kind of like a kid blowing a soap bubble, the glass expanded. It grew thin and round in just minutes. This was a total game changer for civilization. Glass wasn't just an exclusive luxury for kings anymore. It became a cheap, everyday material for bowls, jars, and cups that ordinary families could actually use. The Romans even created the very first primitive windows. Sure, they were super thick and really hard to see through, but for the first time in human history, they brought warm, natural sunlight into dark, windy stone houses. Section 3. The Light of God and the Clarity of Truth. Now, as the Roman Empire fell, glass actually took on a profound spiritual dimension in Northern Europe's towering cathedrals. So while Northern Europe was using glass to literally paint with light, a completely different kind of innovation was brewing down in Italy. Highly guarded glassmakers working in total secrecy on the Venetian island of Murano were trying to solve a massive problem. You see, most glass at the time was tinted green or brown because of impurities in the natural sand. But the Venetians, they actually figured out how to remove those impurities to create cristallo, a perfectly crystal clear glass. They also made incredibly delicate filigree glass that looked like stone lace. This was essentially the absolute high technology of the Middle Ages. The secret was so fiercely protected that if a glassmaker even tried to leave the island, they could literally be thrown in prison. And this Venetian mastery of perfectly clear glass eventually sparked something incredible during the Renaissance: the invention of the glass mirror. I want you to really think about this for a second. Before this moment, people mostly just saw blurry reflections of themselves in a pond, or maybe a polished piece of metal. But with the glass mirror, for the very first time, people could clearly see the exact color of their own eyes and the precise details of their own expressions. This sparked a massive revolution in human self-awareness. It prompted people to think so much more deeply about their own identity, and it totally inspired artists to start painting self-portraits. All right, Section 4. Industrial power and the power of sight. As the world expanded, handcrafting just wasn't cutting it anymore. The steam and coal of the Industrial Revolution brought in heavy machinery that could roll plate glass out completely flat,
Honestly, just like rolling out dough for bread. This paved the way for massive, awe-inspiring architectural wonders. Take London's Crystal Palace in 1851, for example, a towering building made almost entirely of glass and iron. Suddenly, local shops could have large display windows. But maybe even more importantly, factories began churning out millions of mass-produced glass bottles. Because glass is inert, meaning it doesn't chemically react with the stuff inside it, these bottles kept milk perfectly fresh and medicines entirely pure. It made everyday life significantly safer for everyone. But beyond just building materials, shaping curved pieces of glass gave humanity a completely new set of eyes. Glass became a literal lens for human discovery. By putting curved glass into a tube, Galileo looked up and actually saw the craters on the moon and the moons of Jupiter. And by looking through a tiny piece of glass at a single drop of water, Leeuwenhoek discovered microscopic living bacteria, the things that cause disease. Then you have the quiet miracle of eyeglasses, which allowed millions of people with weakening vision to just keep reading, learning, and staying highly productive well into old age. Glass essentially became the ultimate bridge, letting us discover both the vast galaxies way up above us and the invisible microscopic world right down below us.
Which brings us to Section 5, the invisible web of today. Jumping right into the modern era, glass has moved directly to our fingertips. We've engineered incredibly strong materials, like the Gorilla Glass on the device you're probably holding right now, specifically designed to survive heavy drops that would have instantly shattered ancient glass. But the true invisible web of the digital age, that lies deep underneath our oceans and buried beneath our streets, fiber optic cables. These are tiny, thin threads of glass that are actually thinner than a single human hair. And instead of carrying water or perfume, they carry rapid pulses of light. That light is pure data. Every single email you send, every video you stream, and this very explainer you're watching right now, it's all traveling to you across an invisible, global web of these glass threads. Mind-blowing, right? Today, functional glass is doing even more heavy lifting to build our world. Specially crafted glass mirrors are actually cooling our towering modern skyscrapers in cities like Dubai and New York, keeping the blazing heat out while trapping the cool air in. Glass rigorously protects the solar panels that are capturing the sun's energy to help save our planet. And looking forward, scientists are even developing self-healing smart glass that can fix its own scratches or instantly turn your living room window into a giant touchscreen computer. And it gets even better. As we frantically search for environmental solutions, glass is a true green hero. It is 100% recyclable. Unlike so many other materials we use, a glass bottle can be completely melted down and remade into a brand new bottle infinitely, literally forever, without ever losing a single drop of its original quality. We have come an incredibly long way from a mysterious lump of melted sand in a traveler's campfire, haven't we? So the next time you look through a lens, tap your phone screen, or just gaze out a window, ask yourself, will you remember the 5,000-year-old tradition of seeking the light? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Stay curious and keep looking closely at the invisible wonders right in front of you.